So Friday's inauguration made one thing very clear. Our new president really does think size matters. Because photos show that he did not attract the crowd, I guess, that Obama did in 2009, but he insists that about 1.5 million people were there, and the press secretary, Sean Spicer, went even further. Take a look.
This was the largest audience to ever witness an inauguration, period, both in person and around the globe. These attempts to lessen the enthusiasm of the inauguration are shameful and wrong.
You know, he should know better. He should know better than to parrot what his boss is telling him to say.
Yeah.
He's the worst one in a way because he does know better. We've met him. He's been here.
Yeah.
He seemed fairly normal.
Well,
yeah.
but I think that's what it was so disconcerting to me because, look, our eyes aren't deceiving us, right? I mean, we see the pictures. Crowd scientists have said clearly President Obama had more people at the inauguration. And this press secretary, he's the official, he's a White House official, and he is responsible for disseminating information on behalf of the administration, on behalf of the government. If we can't believe what he is telling us, what can we believe? It's really nothing.
There was
it's
a
really
great,
difficult.
to bounce off on what you're both saying, there was a great article at the Weekly Standard, conservative publication online that I read, and it was called Trumpism Corrupts. And it talked about how people like Spicer, you know, they feel the need to do this because the direction is coming from the top.
Yes.
And that is straight from Trump. And they were saying in the article, you know, they were talking about the problems with the Obama administration and whatnot and saying, why are you focused on the crowds? Who cares? And
he
brought
does.
it back. Who
He
cares?
does. He cares.
The size of a crowd is not the reflection necessarily of a good presidency or a good leader or good ideas, but it pointed back to Trump and said, you know, this is about Donald. So when you see Spicer come out or you see Kellyanne Conway come out and do these things, it's a reflection of him and what the man behind all of that cares about, and what he really cares about is his own ego.
That's
because
right.
that's
That's
what
correct.
he's worried
On
about.
January 4th, Spicer was speaking with former President Obama's senior advisor, David Axelrod, about communication strategy, and he said, quote, "The one thing, whether you're Republican or Democrat or independent, is that you have your integrity." Then he said, "I have never lied." And then he a bit later added, "If you lose the respect and trust of the press corps, you've got nothing."
Who said that?
Spicer.
Spicer did
on
it.
January 4th. And I think this part is the problem that is the most disconcerting, is you've got him coming out here with no correction.
Yeah.
And the part that Trump has been focusing on is how he feels that the media is trying to delegitimize him. Starting out of the gates with a credibility problem and misfacts is what will delegitimize him.
Don't you
It is
think
not
that
anyone else
but
doing
don't you think that Sean is speaking to Trump's constituency, that
He
47%?
may be talking to the constituency, but I don't believe the constituency wants to be lied to either.
Well, they believe that the media is lying.
Well, they do believe that, but you know, the funniest thing, and we're going to take you to another place with all of this, is that you can look up online the live feeds of them shooting. You don't have to take the pictures word for it. There are live pieces of film that show it. You know, it's there.
But I think people will say, I think people that don't trust the media will just say, you know what, it's doctored, or
You know
those
what?
are lies
You can say that, but at some point, you either have to decide that you're not going to believe anything